Welcome to the last episode of the Tethered and Whole podcast. I so appreciate you making it this far with me. Thank you. You know, when I first stepped into the world of teacher efficacy and self-care, I didn't have the credentials or the clinical language to back me up, but I had something just as powerful: hope. It wasn't loud or polished. It was quiet. It was steady and persistent. It was a belief that educators were struggling, and that something could be done about it, that I could do something about it. Saying yes to becoming an SEL coach felt like all the roles I had ever held: teacher, administrator, coach, director, finally aligned into something that made sense. Like the path had always been there, and I had just finally arrived at the place where I could see it clearly beneath my feet. Hope, as psychologist C.R. Snyder describes it, is not wishful thinking or blind optimism. It's the belief that we can find pathways toward our goals and the motivation to pursue them. In other words, hope is both the map and the movement. It requires agency, which is the belief that I have free choice and can intentionally influence my own life. And it requires pathways, or the flexibility to find another way when the first path doesn't work. And that's where hope becomes transformational in schools. When educators feel agency, they stay engaged even when the system feels heavy. Let me say that again. When educators feel agency, they stay engaged even when the system feels heavy. And when they develop pathways, they adapt instead of shutting down. And when students see that modeled, they begin to believe that effort and creativity can actually change their outcomes. Folks, hope isn't fluff. It's fuel. It drives resilience, it strengthens motivation, and it protects against burnout. But here's the tension. Hope, it's fragile. It erodes when systems feel too big, when burnout drains our energy, and when isolation creeps in. Or maybe when perfectionism convinces us that if we can't do it perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. And when hope fades, we don't just get tired, we disconnect. We move into survival mode. We check boxes and we count days. And that's why it's so important to understand the difference between hope and toxic positivity. Hope says, this is hard and we can still move forward. Whereas toxic positivity says, this isn't hard. Just don't think about it. One honors reality. The other avoids it. In a hopeful culture, both exhaustion and belief can coexist. Both doubt and determination have a place at the table. And that's where real growth happens. Hope is not the denial of difficulty. It's the decision to keep creating and doing anyway. It's the belief deep down inside you that even the smallest action can shift the story forward. The good news is this: hope is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you practice. It grows through small, intentional actions, setting micro goals that create momentum, shifting language from I can't to I haven't yet, mapping out multiple pathways when obstacles arise, noticing and naming progress even when it feels small. These aren't just mindset shifts. They are neurological ones. Hope activates the prefrontal cortex, helping us plan, regulate, and problem solve. It releases dopamine, restoring motivation and expanding our ability to see options. In a very real sense, hope rewires us toward possibility. And in schools, that changes everything. Teachers take risks, students persist, leaders speak with both honesty and vision, and conversations shift from what's wrong to what's next. So as the year winds down, hope becomes something more than a concept. It becomes a practice of reflection and renewal. Every lesson wrapped up, every student sent forward, every small win along the way is evidence that what we do matters. The end of the year isn't just closure, it's a threshold, a moment to pause, to breathe, and to remember that what we've planted may grow in ways we'll never fully see. And that's the work. That's the calling. Hope is what keeps us tethered to our purpose and what makes us whole enough to begin again. So thank you so much for joining me on this podcast journey. And I hope that you've found some nuggets you can use in your career. If you'd like a physical version of this content, check out my book with the same name, Tethered and Whole, available on Amazon. If you'd like me to come to your school or event, shoot me an email to weldmatthew@gmail.com. We can chat. But regardless, I hope the best for you, and may you remain tethered and whole throughout your career. Thank you.